Automation Nation, Automation Nation, Automation Nation, around the nation. Automation Nation, Automation Nation, Automation Nation, around the nation, around the nation, around the nation. Welcome to the Automation Nation podcast, the show for business leaders, tech aficionados, and those who are just simply curious about where technology and business are going. Automation Nation is your gateway to understanding automation, AI, and the future of business. Don't get left behind. Tune in now and subscribe for more. Welcome to the Automation Nation podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again for another Automation Nation conversation. And I got my guest, my partner, friend, and also known as the automation guy, Mr. Wilton Rogers, here with us today. And welcome back again, Wilton. Welcome back, man.
Always good to be back, Rob, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. I've been loving the conversations you're having with everybody. So it's exciting to see how many people are excited about automation, how it's picking up pretty fast. So good to be back.
Listen, the automation conversations have been picking up, man, because people are really interested in knowing how to use this technology. They're really interested because they're starting to see the benefits from their colleagues and their business rivals and other people. It's almost like if you don't know where the light switch is that it'll always be somewhat dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the moment you find that light switch, oh man, I can see clearly now, and people are seeing.
Oh man, it's pretty exciting to see how people have no idea about the automation journey they want to take or what they're looking to do, and then once they see something that works, the light bulb. You're right, that light bulb kicks on, and then it's like a kid in a candy store. I want this. I want to do this. I want to do this. So it's pretty cool. It's not hard to understand, but it's hard to start because there's so much out there, so much about AI and automation. It's like, where do I start? But once they get it, they get it.
Once they get it, and they keep on getting it. And our goal today, if you're tuned in, so automation works for every industry, just about. Right, in any industry that has humans, because humans have to do activity, and eventually that activity has to repeat itself. So automation can work anywhere. This conversation today, we're talking about property managers and property management in particularly. And you're an expert on this in regards to, because you work with many property managers, many people in this space, and so I think this would be a great conversation. As a matter of fact, if you're tuning in or if you're listening to the replay, there's a special gift we have that we're going to be giving to everyone here who's listening. And it'll be in the comment section. It'll be in the description. And it's going to be something that's very, very useful and beneficial to you. As a matter of fact, you don't have to wait until the end, but you have to wait to the end to get it because we're going to put it in at the end. But it's going to be something that you can use in property management to understand, to level up your IQ. Right? You have EQ, IQ. We want to call it your automation queue. We're going to take it to the next level. So property managers, tune in. Okay.
Jump on board. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I want to say I'm an expert at failing in the first before succeeding. So we've gone through a lot of trial and error. We've been doing it, working with property managers for a while now. But gosh, it's just picked up all of a sudden, man. And not only that, is like the ones we're working with we have one client that's already doing 3. Like we had a few already. It's like, I want to do 3 of them right away, like now. So we're already, so it is picking up fast. But what we found out is that there's so much that property management have to do. There's so many moving parts in the industry and so many different processes. And some of them are, almost like call them low-hanging fruit that take 5 minutes here, but it's tedious. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. They all add up to 3 hours a week, but they have to do it here and there. And then there's ones that take a long time. You have to wait for people, you have to wait for things, and they miss out on a lot of time and delays. And we sort of been through a few processes like, why are you waiting for that? We got to do this, we could do this. We start pointing out, and then I would just start automating it. And it's just been easy for them because not only can they help with their current tenants, but they can onboard other ones a lot quicker, right? And smooth, and work with their suppliers and their vendors a lot easier to get things done and get things approved and get things. So man, it's been fun. It's really fun working with them because they already know what they want and they want to do it fast. They're a fast mode of work, right? And so we're really enjoying working with property management companies.
And that kind of rolls right into the first kind of question, but also kind of conversation point. Like how has automation really reshaped? You kind of were just kind of saying these things, but how has it reshaped the property management industry in the recent years, and where do you see it going?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, well, it's definitely reshaped it because it's a lot easier to focus on what you need to do. The tenant, the client, getting more business, getting more properties. So we've definitely seen businesses and individuals be able to spend more time doing that and not doing all the tedious paperwork and waiting on things and things like that. So that's sort of what we've seen. And what we're looking at now, where it's going is how do you even streamline that even more? It's almost like, if a client that tenant they currently have has an issue, it gets sent in. The automation knows exactly what to do, where to go, who to contact, how to get a hold of them right away. If they don't get a hold of them, who do they get a hold of? There's no wait, there's no lag time on there. It's like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? Until it gets it done, right? So now we're reshaping. It's sort of reshaping the future. Like, okay, we know how to handle that. Now onboarding clients. How do I look at it? How do I look at a new property? How do I get that information out? How do I get vendors out there? How do I get this inspected? How do I get all this stuff? It's all this is being done, is being automated. So once you figure out how to do it from beginning to end, automate beginning to end, the great thing about it is that you can duplicate that over and over and over. So property management that may have 10 units can easily streamline those 10 units right away and understand how to take care of them, and then onboard 90 new units simultaneously because the system's already automated, right? And there's no too little human interaction within those processes too, right? And the touch points that are being done by human are being triggered by the bot, by the automation. It's like if you need a human, the bot will let you know. Once the bot lets you know, you take care of that little thing, send it back to the bot does its own thing. So it's really becoming a lot easier for property management companies to bring on new units, take care of their clients a lot better just because of automation.
Yeah. And then we're talking automation, like what are some challenges then, because let's say we identify it, okay, great. But now what are some of those challenges in implementing this automation? Because this is a big one too.
I think the challenges are not having a clear picture on exactly how your process is done. If it's not done on the regular, if everybody's not following the same process, doing it differently, we find a challenge in slowing it down. Yeah, we help them out and figure out how to streamline it and make it simplify it for everyone. But everybody has to be on the same page. And what we've seen is the delays come is that the whole company's on the same page, whether it's the process itself or not jumping in and all being in on the build out of the automation. So that's where we sort of see a lot of the delays and the bottlenecks and the holdups happening is not being on the same page.
Yeah.
And once you get on the same page and you trust that this is going to help, move forward your company forward, and you're bought into it, you're in, and you'll see it.
It's the communication. Yeah, it's like if everybody comes to the huddle with a different play, that play is not going to be that successful, whatever that is. And that's, of course, you got Peyton Manning, who just calls the audible. But you're talking about a regular
different directions.
Yeah, exactly. So you're saying if you line up, get everyone on the same page, in alignment, we can communicate, have clear objectives, and then we can map to those objectives. And that's when
so much, dude. And it happens so fast. If you get everybody on the same page and everybody bought in, it doesn't take months to get something you've been doing for years. You can have automated in a month. Realistically, if everybody's on board and bought in, and doing we do the information gathering, they give us what we need. It's fast. It's real fast.
That's good. That's good. What about the tenants? Like, what about the tenant satisfaction? Because that's a big deal. If you told me that my tenants could be more satisfied, right? I would definitely be interested in hearing what that was. But how? How is that happening? Like, that's a good, because if people can understand the how, then the why will be automatic.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a good example. Like, for example, there's if there's a tenant, I'm using this because we did it. If there's a tenant that was had an issue with, let's just say their their water heater went out, right? The water heater went out. You have to call the property management company to let them know what's going on. Property management company has to call the vendor to find out, hey, you know what, we have this issue. When can you get down there? Can you do all this, right? So there's steps. By the time it gets back to the tenant, get back to, hey, the tenant's going to call the tenant and say, I'm going to call right now, see if we can get somebody down there. I'll let you know as soon as possible. That person physically has to call that vendor and say, hey, can you get this down there? We have a property. That vendor may be doing other jobs. Say, yeah, I can get down there at 5 o'clock, and this is 8 o'clock in the morning. But all of a sudden, 8 o'clock in the morning, this saying, I can't live without hot water. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever it may be, right? So there's always there's delays because you have to call somebody. The problems happen. You call the property management company. Property management calls someone to get it done. So what we did is like, okay, all you got to do is go to, let's say, a website, right? Go to the website, say the water heater broke, send, right? That message goes out automatically to the property management company, but it goes to all the vendors that they work with right away too. So if they have 3 or 4, vendors that they're working with that do work with water heaters, it automatically goes to them via email and via text, right? So they get notified right away, say, when can you get down there? And then they can reply right away. I said, I need a response within the next 10 minutes because, whatever the case may be. We can get down there by 5. We can get down there by 4. We can get down there by 2. We can get down there in an hour. Say, hey, so you can reply back. Now you get a reply back to that tenant right away saying, hey, guess what? We'll have somebody there in an hour. Will you be home? Yes. Okay. Be there. Now, so it's that fast. So not only does that go out to the property management company, but it goes out to all the vendors that take care of that specific issue. Right. And then you can figure out which is the one I want to get down there. Right. So, and then also come with cost. So say how much it's going to cost. So on the back end, the property management company knows how much it's going to cost. You put all those what ifs, what time you can get down there, how much it's going to cost, all the different things. If there's questions they have to ask, they can put on there, send it back to the tenant saying, here, they're getting down there, but we need to know this, this, and this. They let them know right away, send it out. It goes to the tenant, it goes to the property management company, and it goes to that direct vendor asking those questions. So there's no delay. So those are things that we're seeing that are helping, that tenants are loving, because it's like, hey, you know what? There's not a whole lot of downtime. I don't have to wait for something,
Right.
So yeah, that's just one of many.
Oh my goodness. That's if you were listening to that, I'll summarize it. Essentially, the reason why automation works one of the reasons why it increases retention rates within your tenant retention rates. The reason why automation can increase this percentage is because when tenants need things like maintenance, a lot of times there are manual steps that have to be done in order to execute that. But with automation, it automatically does the things like reach out to all the vendors and get the price points, like communicate back with the tenant and let them know what the options are, like follow through on all those things that come in between and after. It's really phenomenal. Okay, so that's a good one, and it kind of rolls into the question about what role does AI play in property management? That's automation, AI, interchangeable. I know, but with the future, what do you like? What about the future? Because the future is bright. Well, sometimes it's too bright for us to take a look at. Like it's like the sun. Why don't you kind of dim it down for us and what you think about it?
Yeah, again, AI and automation is thrown around, quite a bit, but there's different levels, right? And let's talk about more the property management area, not the tenant area. When it comes down to AI, it's really trying to figure out, how are we trying to communicate with the tenants? How are you trying to, what are the things that you need to know from your tenants right away? For example, let's say tenant screening or yeah, this is a tenant screening. You have to do a background check, you have to do rental history, you have to do all the different things, right? So with AI, what you can do is ask all those questions, right? All those questions that come back to you. Let's say that you worked with, you did a history with this other property management company. What's going to happen is that AI will automatically pick it up, know who it is, get all the contact information so you can call them right away. So all the screening that they do, that they give you, AI will go out there and search for all the answers, right? Go credit check, go get the credit check, rental history, go back over here, background, go over here. It'll automatically feed you all that information. It'll go gather that information wherever it is to gather that information from. So, and it's almost realistic. It's almost in real time. It could be almost in real time, right? So AI just knows how to go find the information that you need, the history. So you can go to ChatGPT and ask them a question, and they'll probably answer the question for you, right? Pretty much the same thing. It's like, here are all the things that you need to get from that client, and you want to close them right away, get that information. You can have that done within an hour. So here's all the information we got back. Yeah, you're approved. Let's move forward. There's no wait time on there. Where before you had to call, wait for things, look at the different histories. So there's different things that you can do to sort of speed that up. So I think AI, especially when it comes down to potential tenants reaching out to you, they can ask specific questions about, how long do you have to lease have to be? What are the upcharges that you're going to, any upcharges? You can ask all these different questions that you want to, and AI will come back and answer those for them. So, but those are things that you want to look at after you invested your time. I would say, realistically, automation is the first step. That's the first step because it eliminates everything that you have to do manually. It eliminates all these little, rule-based, manual process that you're doing. Once you take your focus away on there, you can figure out, okay, how can I best use AI for my business? How can I best communicate with current tenants and with future tenants? How can I make it a lot easier for them to communicate with me, right? Once you take away all those manual steps, you have time and energy to focus on that, figure out which is the best AI, journey you want to take from that point on. So, people are jumping into, and you always see it all the time on, I saw a couple of things this morning about, how I can't remember what industry it was that was jumping into AI. Mortgage industries were jumping into, generative AI. It's like, and it says, but 75% of them haven't even implemented yet, or haven't even thought about implementing it. The other ones are still talking about it. Only like 7% have implemented it. Most of them are on the enterprise level, right? Which is the reason why they're only 7%, because if you look at those 7% that are implementing it, I guarantee you, most of that 7% already has automation, and they're using AI to expand a lot quicker. Because they're not, when you put an AI in front of automation, You're paying for AI, but you're still paying for a lot of manual process. You don't have to. So you can invest that time and effort that you're paying for the manual things by automating, and then focus on that. And I guarantee you that 7%. That's the reason why some companies grow so fast, because they get it. Well, a lot of people believe the hype on AI and everything. They bought into that, like, oh, it's working for that company. Let me see it work for me. Well, yeah, but they took all these automation steps to get to that point. You haven't even started your journey yet.
Right.
Let's get that done first and see how fast it can happen.
Speaking of that, like, so balancing the human touch, so you got AI, you have humans. So how do you balance that? I think you were just kind of talking about it, being more, go, understanding your objectives, be more involved. What else would you say?
I think that in order for property management to really balance the human touch and increase automation is, excuse me, is by, first of all, knowing, what you want to do. Like, you got to know what you want to do. It's like, if you know exactly, this is where I want to spend my time, this is where I want to invest my energy and support, this is where I want to invest my money, okay, well then, what are the things that you don't want to be part of? Focus on, okay, how can I get this off my plate first? How can I remove that? That way, there's no humans involved with this, so my humans can be more in touch with customer facing, with branding, with looking for more properties, or whatever case may be. So the automation is just supporting your human journey, the journey that you want to take as a human, right? So whatever you don't want to do, figure out, how can I automate this? How can I get this off my plate so I can be more human? Me and you talking right now, that's a human touch, right? But working the back end, the reason why I can talk to you here is because we have things working in the back end that I don't have to worry about. Not only that, is that we can have employees doing the same thing, doing the human touch, because we just automate all their processes, right? So the best thing to do is to figure out what are the things that you want to do, but what are the things that you are doing that are slowing you down or delaying you from doing those things. How can you automate that?
I like that. And it all leads back to you having clear understanding of the objectives. Everything's leading back to that. That's clarity. Sounds like clarity is king. It looks like you get a lot of your clarity in the car too. I saw this video you put up.
Yes.
Get a lot of clarity in the car. I'm gonna play this for folks. What do you call these? What do you call these things here?
I just sit down there and I really think. I make calls, or like when I'm picking up the kids from school. You have to get there early, because if you get there like on time, you have to. That line is so long, you have to wait like an hour, right?
Yeah.
So try to get there about 45 minutes early, really. So give you time to do some emails, catch up on some calls. Sometimes you just have time after you get off a call or something, like, oh, something clicked in. So I just hit record and just start recording and just see what happens, right? And I think the other day we're talking about property management, and I think this is the one that looks like this is the one that what it was, but it was just like, let me share something.
Yeah. I love when those ideas just pop in and then the beautiful thing about this day and age, as soon as it pops in here, it can pop right out here.
That's right.
Let's see what you was talking about.
All right.
Hello, property management industry. Wilton here, your automation guy. I'm sitting here waiting for my kids to get out of school, and I thought I would share something with you. Did you know that automation is very popular in your industry? More and more property management companies are looking for ways to streamline their business, and we here at Simply Automate have found ways to really help them and found processes that we can help them with. There are a few that I think that you might want to think about automating if you're doing it manually. Tenant screening and background checks is one that's very popular. Lease administration and management is another one. Our rent collection and payments is a very popular process. Maintenance requests and tracking is another one. Compliance is one. Reporting. Utility management is a very popular one. Vendor management and payment, communicating with tenants and shareholders, and property inspections and audits are another one. Those are the only ones I can think of the top of my head because they're very popular. But if you are in the property management industry or know someone that is, have them DM me or have them comment on this post or tag them on this post and we'll be happy to send them some information to show exactly what we are doing to help property management companies streamline their business. And remember, if it's on your plate, simply automate. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Too much on your plate? Simply automate.
Simply automate. Yes. Yeah. I love that. I love how you have that you made that quote, man. I always steal that from you. Just like, you have too much on your plate, simply automate. And it's the truth. I think everybody has a lot of things on their plate. And when you find out, okay, I have a lot going on. How can I? You always talk about. We used to talk about before. I wish I had an assistant. I wish this passes on to somebody, or I need to hire somebody to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. What are you doing right now? Let's sort of get that off your plate and let's automate it before you start cashing up, throwing out money out there to bring somebody on to do that.
Right. So speaking about money, let's talk about money. Let's talk about the financial implications of adopting automation. Now, what is the gain? Because people like to win, and saving money is making money. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And how? Let's talk about how are property managers and property management companies able to actually win financially?
Yeah, great question. Well, before automation was, I would say years ago, was pricey. Small, medium-sized businesses were priced out of it. They couldn't afford it. It was just too costly because not only for the software, but for the development, any support, any changes that need to be done, you have to pay hourly rates to get that fixed, all kinds of different things. Well, that's why we came up with our service model, right? The service model allows you to come in. You don't have to really focus on a budget from the beginning, like most of the people are saying. Hey, when it comes down to technology, we're gonna put, in 2024, we're gonna save $50,000 towards technology opportunities or research or whatever the case may be. With the service model, what it allows you to do is do a subscription model. That subscription covers everything from the design, the hours you put into the design work, the development, the deployment, the testing, all that stuff on before it even gets deployed. But once it's deployed, it comes with the service, comes with the maintenance. So anything happens within that process, it's covered, right? This has allowed smaller businesses, smaller firms to be able to adopt automation. And the great thing about it is that when it comes down to the cost, you're going to see, okay, if it's spending, you're saving about 10, 15 hours a week on one process, right? And that process may cost you, I'm just going to put it at $20 an hour. Let's say, it's a process that is $20 an hour. You're doing it for 10 hours a week. That's $200 a week, $800 a month, right? Well, that process that you just did may cost you, I'm just gonna throw a number out there, $300, $400. Let's just say even half of that, okay? Couple things. Not only are you gonna see, and what they'll get, remember, that 10 hours is 25% of what that person was doing that week, 25%. So what can they do with that 25%? Let's get the money out of the equation first, right? 25%, you're giving 25% of their workday back. What can they do with that? Especially a small business. We know we wear multiple hats, right? When I mean small business, I'm usually talking about 150 million or less, right? All the way down to 500,000, whatever the case may be. Even solopreneurs we've helped, but the smaller businesses, you'll see a bigger impact. But they've given back that 25%, and they're allowed to do something. That alone is going to be a huge return for a couple of reasons, because that person no longer has to think about that 25% of their day anymore, right? Doesn't have to physically, mentally, emotionally, like you said, gets it off their plate, right? So they're totally removed from there. So their focus and their vision is moves totally somewhere else. Mm-hmm. This door is closed, never have to open it again. Now I can just totally put my energy towards this. Man. That alone's a return, right? Yep. But then you look at it also as manually, right? That took them 10 hours to do, right? Now it may take automation, we call it a bot, 30 minutes to do, an hour to do, right? And it could do it off time. Their off time, they have to do during the work. It could be they come to work and it's done for them. Like, oh, here it is, right? So that's another thing. So not only their time, but the speed of how the process is done, minus human error. There's no error that's involved, right? Right. And there's no extra training. So once the bot knows. So you have to come in here and do it over and over and train somebody. If you want to, even if you took that 10 hours and want to show it to someone else, it's gonna take them time to train. You got to pay them benefits, you got to pay them all kinds of different things. The bot, you don't have to. Last thing is the finances, right? Even if you're paying $800 worth of manual work that's being done, and this bot costs you $400 a month, right? That's half of what you were costing before. But when you put that into the ROI for the bot running, the speed and accuracy, but you also put the time that you say that individual to be more valued, to give more of a voice within the company, you can't compete with that. You can't compete with that. So, and not only that is that, remember that 10 hours, when it comes to volume, that may be a volume process where you can just continue doing over and over. So if it's more volume, that 10 hours may be 20 hours and 30 hours and 40 hours. And all of a sudden that's a full-time job for someone to do, because now you're busy, you have more business, right? To hire somebody, it's going to cost $800, $1,600, $2,400, $3,200 a month to be able to do that process.
Yeah.
And guess what? That bot is still costing you $400 doing a 40-hour job that a human would do, because you built your company.
Love it.
Right. So you got to look at it in that aspect as well, because people don't realize that. They're saying, okay, well, you're saving 50%. Yeah, but now you're just really charging me $400 more because I still got to pay my employee, because they're still working those 10 hours, but they're working in somewhere else different. When you start looking at it differently like that, you're like, oh, wow, now I could build volume. I could build volume over this. If I build volume, gosh, that bot still cost me $400. But now if I was to do it manually, that might cost me $3,000 a month. So
man, that's you nail on the head with that. You basically you're saving money and make money in so many different ways. You're saving it because, number one, you're becoming more efficient because of the automation. You're taking that person who was spending that time doing that process away from that. Now they can do something else of more value. The thing that they were doing, it's being done even faster. So faster, better, more accurate, we're saying. And the people released to do other great things. Man, listen, it really is. We are living the best time on earth right now. This is the best time to be alive. I just said this yesterday on a podcast I was on. Just said this, and it's 100% accurate. It's not even just a kumbaya around a campfire just saying positive things. No, this right now is the greatest time for a human being to be on earth, because of the things we have access to. Like there's people who go out of business like that. Right. But right now you have the ability to get back in business like that and scale like that. If you spend the right amount of time getting the right information. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the right information. And speaking of right information, we said we had something great for you, wonderful people. So you'll see a downloadable. You'll find this in the description. And this is automation in property management. And so what you'll be able to do with this download is you'll be able to go through it and really get some good ideas on where to begin. Where to begin. And of course, you can schedule a call to get more insight from Wilton. I'll put his information there as well. Get the information. It's free. All you have to pay is attention. Even the call is free. And the goal is to get the insight that you need so that you can take the steps you need. Okay. The future is now. The future is what we do today. That's the present right now. So right now, again, I'll put this link up here, put this information up. You'll find in the comments section, look for automation and property management use case and download that, go through it, and get questions on purpose and ask Wilton. His name is the automation guy, folks. Come on. All right. So
I'm glad you shared that. I think a lot of people think, well, I'm going to be sold, I'm going to be called on, like, you're going to all these different tactics to try to get my business. And obviously we reach out, and if you want us to, but we're not hard sellers, right? What we present is the facts, and we show them exactly what we can do. Some buy into it right away, some don't buy into it. In fact, we have a property management company that just bought into it that we just started working with last month. That they reached out to us about a year and a half ago, right? And then they went silent. And guess what? A few months ago, they reached out again because they saw, oh, I remember them talking about this and they can help us. And now we're working with them, right? So the thing about it is that you'll find out in your own time. All we want to do is give you the information, so when that time does come, it triggers you right away to understand, oh, we can do that. That's it, right? That's why we like to educate people, because business is going to come in the automation industry regardless. Business people are jumping on this bandwagon. They're jumping on it fast. Some don't. But as long as you can educate them, when an opportunity comes where they can see a bottleneck within the company and they can understand because they've been educated, like, oh, that can be automated. Let's talk to Simply Automate. Let's talk to whoever the case may be, right? They'll know to be able to make that call right away. So we're not gonna bug you. We'll give you the information that you asked for. We'll give you these downloads. We'll call you. We'll meet with you. We'll show you some data. But if it's one that you want to sit down and just get back to us on your own time, we noted that you'll get back to us on your own time, and that's it. Because your own time will come. It will come, because everybody has to automate. And what I mean by automate, they have to implement. The fastest way is implementing RPA, robotic process automation. Automating that will allow you to look at more intelligent automation, digital transformation, whatever you want to call it. You'll be able to look at other softwares that can improve your company's performance, productivity. But that's almost like the second level, and then comes AI, and things like that. But if you work on that in that line, it becomes very easy for you to scale.
Very easy. Very easy. Speaking of very easy, what's the easiest way for folks to get in contact with you and reach out?
I would say the best way, obviously, is LinkedIn. We're always on LinkedIn daily. I'm not a weekend LinkedIn people, so if you get me on the weekend, I may, if I'm not doing much, because we do a lot because we have kids all involved, all kinds of activities. But Monday through Friday, I'm pretty much, I'll respond to you probably within an hour or so. And so that's probably the best way. You can go to our website as well, simplyautomate.ai, and sort of, contact us there. We'll get pinged on that right away. But we live on LinkedIn. I would probably say the best way to see what we're doing on a regular basis, to get to know us, get to know what we're doing. Go come talk to us on LinkedIn, and so we can take that off to the side and have a one-on-one and see where it goes from there.
That's it, folks. And you have been listening to or watching the Automation Nation podcast, another great automation conversation with the automation guy. Don't forget your download. It's down there. The worst thing you could do is not take advantage of information that could benefit you in the future. And we've all done this. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Get the information, take advantage of it. Wilton, man, thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting, man. Appreciate it. It was fun.
Until next time. Automation.